All right, let's get into a topic that causes, well, endless friction in relationships. It's this idea that men and women are just wired to love differently. But is that actually true? Today, we're going to unpack why we think this way and hopefully discover a much more helpful way to look at it.
I mean, this is the question, right? It's at the heart of so many arguments, so many of those late-night talks. Do men and women really, truly love differently? Is there some kind of biological blueprint that just dictates how we feel this incredibly powerful emotion?
So, to even begin to answer that, we first have to tackle what you could call the love myth. This huge, widespread belief that our gender is what dictates our ability to love.
Well, here's the short answer, and it might surprise you. No. The core feeling of love, that deep, fundamental human connection, it isn't actually gendered. The real difference, and this is the absolute key to all of this, isn't in how we feel love, but in how we're taught, how we're conditioned from a super young age to express it. And this conditioning, it starts so early. Just think about the different messages we all get. Boys are often taught to be strong, to be problem solvers, to be providers, and showing a lot of emotion, that can get framed as a weakness. On the flip side, girls are often encouraged to be nurturing, to be emotionally open, to be expressive. These aren't just, personality traits. They're basically learned scripts for how we're supposed to act.
So all that conditioning we get as kids leads us right here. If we're all handed different scripts, it makes perfect sense that we end up speaking totally different emotional languages, or love languages, as adults.
And these different scripts, they create some really common patterns. For a lot of men, love becomes an action. It's something you do. It's fixing that leaky faucet, or working late to make sure the bills are paid, or making sure everyone feels safe. But for many women, that exact same feeling of love is often shown through words and connection. Saying, "I love you," sharing how you feel, and just offering that emotional support. And this is the main takeaway. It is not about one person feeling more, or the other person caring less. It's about both people communicating the exact same deep feeling, but using two totally different languages to do it. One person speaks the language of action, and the other speaks the language of words.
So, what happens when you have two people speaking different languages with no translator? Well, signals are definitely going to get missed. And that right there is the source of so much pain and conflict in relationships.
The conflict really ignites when one partner expects love to be shown in their native language. She might see him fixing the car and just dismiss it as a chore because she's waiting to hear the loving words she needs. And he might hear her talking about her feelings and see it not as connection, but as an impractical problem he needs to solve. The tragedy is they are both showing love, but the signals are just getting completely misinterpreted. And all that misunderstanding, it often leads to this exact conclusion. It's a statement that comes from pure frustration, right? From that feeling that your partner just doesn't get it, or maybe that they don't feel things as deeply as you do. But it's a conclusion that's based on a total misreading of the evidence.
Which brings us to the real truth of the matter. We have got to move past this myth and start focusing on the fact that love itself is universal.
Okay, first things first. The ability to love, to form these incredibly deep bonds, to care for another person, that is a fundamentally human experience. It has nothing to do with gender.
But here's the catch. While the feeling is universal, the way we express it is not. The way we show love is a product of everything around us, our culture, how we were raised, our own unique personalities. So the feeling is baked in, but the performance is learned.
So what does this mean for us? It means that healthy relationships aren't built on comparing who loves more or who loves better. They're built on becoming a good translator. The goal is to learn how to recognize and really appreciate your partner's unique language of love, especially when it's not the same as yours. Once you realize that, you can reframe this whole problem. It stops being about fixing some massive difference between men and women, and it becomes about asking a much better, way more productive question. So let's just agree to throw out that old, competitive question. It's a dead end. All it does is lead to scorekeeping and resentment, and you just can't put a score on an emotion. Instead, here is the far more powerful question to ask. How does my partner show love? And am I actually recognizing it when they do? This simple question completely shifts your focus from judgment to curiosity. It forces you to have empathy, to be willing to see what they do through a brand new lens. It's really asking, how are they showing me they care, and am I trained to see it? And honestly, that simple shift in perspective, it's incredibly powerful. Learning to see the love in the action or the love in the words and appreciating both for what they are, that alone can be the key that bridges the gap and saves a relationship from what is, at its heart, just a simple tragic misunderstanding.